board meeting to order at 6:30. Alex, would you do the invocation, please?
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. Thank you for allowing us to do the business of the district. Help us to make decisions that benefit all of our children and all of our staff and our community at large. It's in your precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you all for being here tonight. As you can tell, Jason is absent tonight, and so we're going to recognize our visitors in public forum. And we do have a few that are signed up. Your time limit is 5 minutes. And so, Kelly Trent, to speak
Up here?
It's fine.
Okay.
Should be a microphone.
I don't think I need that.
That's for the camera.
Hello, hello.
Can you hear it?
Good evening. As most of you know, I am Kelly Trent. I'm a parent of 4 children in this district, and I have been for the last 10 years. I love this community. I love this school. We are truly a great little town. Because of this, I volunteer and spend a lot of time on campus and at school events. I see a lot and I hear a lot. We have a lot to be proud of. We have a lot to work on as well. For years now, I have quietly gone to administration with concerns. Not once have I felt like things were resolved or handled in a correct or productive manner that keeps our students' academic progress and social behavior at the forefront. I have been met with numerous justifications and apologies, but no change or forward progress. This, coupled with recent events, including the loss of yet another incredible educator, has caused me to speak out publicly. I fear for our students' education if nothing changes. I fear the state of our district if nothing changes. Problems unaddressed in formative years become societal issues later. We've lost enough faculty, staff, and students because of the negative impact of our administration, specifically Kristen Sajewski. I have enclosed a letter that better details my issues and concerns. I'm happy to answer questions privately. I appreciate all that you do, and thank you for your time.
Next I have Cody Clemens, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I've got notes, but I'm just going to wing it. My name is Cody Clemens. I've got 3 little girls that go to school here. I love the school. I love everything. But recently, here on February 10th, there was an issue with the teacher. The teacher is no longer there in the 6th grade. I do not know the reason, have not been told, and I understand there are issues why I can't be told that. My biggest issue that I have with the whole thing is it was not until February 25th where any of the parents were provided with written anything about the teacher being removed from the school. There were meetings with teachers and with parents, but at no time was anything written down, just a simple 1-sentence email or anything like that to the parents. This teacher's no longer here. We're working on getting a new one. It was a solid 2 weeks before any of that happened. I don't understand why this happened. I wish that this can be a learning experience and this does not happen in the future. No parent should have to go 2 weeks without knowing who their teacher is. No, there are all sorts of rumors going around the school. I'm not going to say them in this classroom or in the boardroom right here, but rumors shouldn't be running what people are hearing instead of getting firsthand from the administration. Now, I love this administration. I think they do a great job, but I think mistakes were made here, and I think we should learn from them and make better decisions in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, the next one I show is Ralph Burnett.
I don't have any notes either. I'm Ralph Burnett. Graduated from here in 1974. Been here all my life. I'm just getting involved in coming to school board meetings. I don't figure I can gripe if I don't know how things work. So I do have a complaint. I understand the same thing about the 6th grade teacher being removed. I understand, we can't be told why. I have a daughter going in 6th grade next year, and rumor is we're hiring a substitute that's not qualified or certified. I don't know qualifications to teach these kids for 3 months. That's a third of the school year, people, and that's a lot of educating. This hard enough on these teachers as it is. I commend every teacher because they're going through a lot of trouble here, and they earn every penny and more. But we shouldn't put more on them than, and the classes are big, we all know that, you know, they're just overworked in my opinion, but I really think there's enough qualified, certified teachers out here in our community that have paid the dues, went to school. That would be like me trying to come in here and be a superintendent and I don't have no certification, you know. To me, that's the same thing. And I just feel that we don't need to lower ourselves and put teachers up here that aren't certified. And even if it's for 3 months, I think we can find a teacher, in my opinion. And I'd also like to encourage the school board member. I'm getting involved in the Iola. I've got a few complaints there, but it's in an infant stage. And I'd like to encourage y'all to be familiar with how they operate, because it's going to come up in the future. And I'm having trouble kind of finding out how they operate myself here. But I do think y'all need to be aware that I'm not too happy with the way they're operating. And we'll talk about that at a later date here when I've got some facts. But other than that, I just commend everybody that we do have a good school here. It's awesome. They spend a lot of personal time with kids that need it. So I just think we need to give the teachers a pat on the back and stand behind them every chance we can. Now, like I said, I don't know the reason there, and I'm sure it's a good reason that she left. But we do need to replace her with somebody just as qualified, I believe. And that's not some soccer mom. That's what I'll put it like that. Okay, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Christina Steineman?
No, sorry, I circled the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Is there any questions? Anything that anybody wanted to pull? Or single out for further discussion?
I'll move that we accept.
I second.
I have a motion by Alec and a second by Carolyn to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
All the way to item 5.
I didn't mark it before,
Got spoiled by the tabs.
so. Yes.
Do about 10 pages worth.
Still do this.
Yeah, still fine.
Kathy said administration reports. Ms. Sajewski?
I've got, I think it's my month to report on goal progress. I included a meets in there. It's kind of cut off. It's down there at the bottom. It's highlighted in yellow. The K through 2 nonsense word fluency, I had the specific meets and above on there too.
You need that? I'm gonna have it when you
Yes, you can. So in, when was the first time we presented? October, we had not finished our, I guess September, we had not finished our TEA interim benchmarks. They hadn't been done yet. So we had just used some preliminary results for meets and above for 3rd grade reading and math from Exact Path. So now that we had done that TEA interim benchmark, I wanted to go ahead and replace that first bar that you see to be more accurate. We'll take our second benchmark, that's like our mock STAR test, in April. 5th grade science, we'll take theirs in March, and then 3rd through 6th reading and math, we'll take theirs in April. So the next time we meet, you'll have that spring benchmark in there. That's why it's a little bit behind, because the windows.
Is there a, when I look at these, it still says approaches.
Right,
About-
so, yeah, so I included the meets for our progress measure below. In order for me to change these meets, we need to, I guess, meet again like we did when we first set these goals, and come up with a baseline number for meets and above for these specific areas.
Well, the ones, when we adopted them, they were on grade level, they were on grade level. On to me means you're meeting them. It
Okay.
doesn't mean approaching. And that's
Okay.
what we talked about before, is that's what our goal already was. You don't have it printed on here, but when you go back and look at those, it says that they are on or above level.
Right, and the reason that we did, on something that says approaches, we kind of wanted to stick with the same STAR language, where approaches was passing, meets was a level higher, and then masters was above that. That's why we stuck with that language, unless the measures that we were doing didn't have a, approaches, meets, or masters, then we would just say on level.
But the whole point of this early childhood was because the state said we need to improve scores and they need to be meets.
Right.
That was the whole point. So
Right.
our progress measures should also be meets,
Yes.
not approaching.
I agree, so when y'all approved these, y'all approved them as approaches, so I'm guessing.
No,
what
we
we
do not
need-
approve them as approaches. If you go back and you look at them, I should have brought mine. If you go back and you look, it says on level. on.
Right, for some of them it does, because there's not an approaches, meets, or
They're all
masters.
on. They're all on.
We had a long conversation.
They're all on.
During the workshop that we had. We had a lot of conversation going back and forth as if we wanted to do, the same language as what the test had, or if we wanted to know, who was excelling, because we wanted those kids at the highest level.
Right.
And that was the percentage that we wanted. We were, so there was a lot of conversation about that. And all of those should have said that we want them at the highest level, those percentages that we approved.
Okay, so masters or meets? Meets. Meets and above.
Not the highest, but meets.
Oh.
On level.
At where they.
At or on level to me means at, whatever language you use, to me on or at means to me that you're meeting level. Approaching means that you're not meeting level.
I guess it just
And
depends, because
and
STAR
that
says
was
that's
our
on level.
language. That was our language. Approaching is not on level. And our language and our progress measure says distinctly, if you go back and look at those, I probably have them on my phone. But I know that they stay on or above level, every one of them.
Okay, we'll get that corrected. We'll get the meets.
We need to come up with new goals.
Okay, we can do that.
All right, that's all I got.
That's what this is start with.
Can I ask
Do
a
what?
question about some of this?
Wait, let's just start with, is like when you presented it was on level. That was the goal starting with.
On the benchmark for third grade, what are we thinking is making that benchmark so low? Was it just?
Well, whenever we set the baseline, we had done that with this year's current seventh graders. We took their third grade meets scores. And that was just a really high grade level that year, a lot of high students. I think that's the problem that we run into. Instead of comparing, the cohorts, the groups of students as they go on and make sure they're still meeting those, we get a fresh batch of students every year trying to meet those. So sometimes they're different, sometimes they're not. That was just a really high group that year. It's very rare that we see 73% at that middle high level.
Yeah, I was on the wrong side.
Yeah, that was math. And we're going to look at our 21 scores next month, is that?
That'd be the tap art, yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. I'll hold my questions until then, because I've got a lot of concerns about our scores. A lot.
The reading, the fall reading, because we need to be at 73% that second level by the end of the year.
No, I mean, I'm aware of what the goals that we set were, and I'm, I know that's what we're working towards. But I have in the past, when we set those goals, I pushed and pushed and pushed for them to be as high as everybody else would agree to. I'll just say that, I'm not going to be happy with 70-something%, you know, even if it's our goal. So, I mean, I'm not going to, you know, jump in and say we need to do something else, but I mean, we need to address those goals as well, because you know, we've knocked these progress measures out of the park in most places, and then when you know, when we're doing 80 or 85% on the progress measures, and then we're getting in the 70s on the actual test, that tells me that progress measure is not getting us where, it's not measuring the issue that's stopping on our testing. So, you know, maybe we need to look at some of those progress measures, and that's us. That's you know, but we have to do that with input from the professionals, and you know, if our progress measures are great and the testing is mediocre, you know, results, you know, they're the wrong progress measures.
Mr. Ballard?
Well, I'm always happy to come up and share the great things that we're doing at the high school. So we just wrapped up basketball season. Boys, they had a hard-fought season. They grew a lot. I think they did really, really well. Just ended up a little bit short this season, but the girls did really well too. They were by-district champs, and we're really, really close to going to the next level. So, yeah, it was a close-fought game. They did really well. So we're proud of both of those programs. A lot of growth and development there. Softball and baseball just started up. Our junior high programs are going to be active this year. They've been practicing. I know Miss loves it. She's at 6 a.m. in the morning with junior high, so they're doing really well. They're 5-0, I believe. Is that right? So their junior high is 5-0. They're rocking it. So they're doing really well. The girls, they've only played one game, but they're still getting in the groove. They both play tomorrow at North Zolch.
Junior high doesn't.
Junior high doesn't. Okay, so we got to change that on the calendar. North Zolch, but the girls varsity does play tomorrow at North Zolch. Baseball, they're 1-1, and then they had a draw game. I guess it would be considered a rain out for Remon yesterday or Friday. They're doing really well. Coaches really kind of turned things around with that program. Their hitting's really sharp. I'm really proud of those guys. So they play at Rosebud Lock tomorrow. Then there's a varsity tournament here starting Thursday through Saturday, I believe. Track, junior high track is right now over at Anderson. And then the varsity track will be at Anderson on Thursday. So that program is up and running and doing well. Some awards we have. Band had a concert over in Madisonville this weekend. Had a lot of awards. Christian Ashford got snare drum solo, 2nd division. Ashley Kaufman got clarinet solo, 2nd division. Tegan Savage got euphonium solo, 3rd division. Jared London, Chris Vasquez, Blake Blanchard all got brass trio, 2nd division. And then Shauna Berg, she's done awesome this year. She got verse 1st division, all regions solo and ensemble, and so she is going on to state. So our band program is doing awesome right now. One Act Play, they have their district meet on Tuesday. And then just some other announcements. 8th grade is going to the NASA Space Center for their field trip Wednesday, March 9th. So they've been doing a lot of fundraising for that, and everybody's really looking forward to that. SAT school day will be Wednesday, March 23rd. And then UIL High School Academics, the district meet is Friday, March 26th. So a lot of great things going on. Very excited.
All right, on my report, the application for the board positions, they were closed on February the 18th. All are unopposed except position 7. That's Ms. Nettles' position. Let's see, also the election will be May 7th. On Thursday of last week, Grimes County Sheriff's Department, they did a walkthrough of our building. They have some guys that work the night shift, so they brought everybody through to kind of familiarize them with the building in case there's an emergency. So Officer Ellis, he did a great job for us. We appreciate him getting those guys up here. Glad to announce we finally hired a 6th grade teacher. It's kind of been a struggle. We've been turned down. We've went different directions, but we finally settled on one. We finally got somebody in, and so they're started today, and then they will be continuing on, and they are a certified teacher. We are getting quotes for the baseball, softball, and football sound system. as y'all know, we think that the football sound system was struck by lightning. And so it's just been an ongoing battle. So we're looking, I think Avanex is coming in to give us a quote. And we're going to see what that's going to cost, but it's not going to be cheap. So be prepared for that. All right, so as y'all know, our baseball and softball field, the nets have fallen down. They just deteriorated. And if I'm not mistaken, those are the original ones that were put up whenever the softball field was built. So we need to replace those for safety. And I've gotten 2 quotes. One from U.S. Netting for $15,804. And then one from Netting Contractors, and it's $17,673. Well, so very expensive for the safety, but for our fans, we think that's a good thing to do. So here's the difference. They're both going to come out and put them up because we don't have the equipment to put them up. But the netting contractors, which are out of Anderson, they will put the funnels on it to where the balls don't get stuck up. We have to knock them off. They will actually go to a funnel to where we can get the balls off the net. So it's a little bit more pricey to have that, but they offer that option. So we're going to be looking to see if we can get some nets put up here in the next week or so. We'll get that going. And it's just been the deal where it's hard to get quotes when people can't get stuff in to get anything done. So anyway, put that on your radar. All right. Okay, bad news. We used a volunteer coach and on our baseball program, and head coach didn't realize it, and so we have to self-report to our DEC. UIL does not allow you to have a volunteer coach. They have to be a paid coach. I think it was an oversight, and we reported to Fayetteville on this issue. We reported today, and so they're non-district games, so we'll see what the penalties will be. It shouldn't go anything, I don't want to say, but normally what they'll do is they'll say you're required to forfeit the game if you won, and just say don't do that again. If it's district, it would have been a different situation, but we haven't started district play, so we caught it early, so hopefully we can kind of get past that. Next thing, school calendar. We put that out. We put out 2 calendars for our teachers to vote on. 51% wanted one calendar and 49% wanted the other calendar. It was 1 vote different. So with that being said, it's too close. We're gonna actually go back to our campuses and we're gonna let them revisit this situation and see if we can't come up with a workable solution that everybody's good with. And there was just a couple of minor changes. One was a little bit longer at Christmas, but you're still in the same amount of time, and still the same amount of days. But the Christmas break was a little bit longer on one than the other one. So we'll see if we can't come to a happy medium on that. So like I said, that was just way too close. Ms. Tim and I, we have started the new salary scales. We'll be bringing those to y'all to look at. We're going to give you 2 or 3 options to look at. And so when we get those kind of finalized, we'll get those pushed out. We had 2 town hall, well, excuse me, we had 1 town hall meeting Saturday. Let's don't call it a town hall meeting. We were just at King Oaks to present the flyer that we have in front of you. And this is what's going to be going out, so everybody will have one of these. And these are our fact sheets. So for you guys in the community, we will be getting these out. These will be coming out in our town hall meetings. The second town, or originally our first town hall meeting will be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in the elementary gym, elementary cafeteria. So we'll be passing a bunch of these out if y'all want to grab these. We passed out a few at King Oaks, but I didn't realize that they would have as many people there on this cold Saturday that they had. I thought I'd be taking some home, but they had a good turnout for their business meeting. I'm assuming that's what it was.
Their board meeting.
Yes. So basically, the sheet's going to give you all the facts about what we're trying to do. It's going to tell you the tax rate, what it was, what it's going to be. And so if we'll refer that a lot over the next 3 months. We'll be hosting additional town hall meetings. I think we're going to try to get in the community center. And so we'll be inviting anybody, everybody to come and wants to look at what we're trying to do. And we're welcome to answer any kind of questions. All right, so board, this is for y'all.
Mr. Dyer, one more time, what time is tomorrow night?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock in the elementary cafeteria. We'll pass those that away. Pass those that away. Okay, so this is a school board officer conference on the 29th. So if you don't have anything to do on the 29th, they're glad to have you, and they're going to serve dinner for you. And you get 2 hours of continuing ed. So, Ms. Bowles says she's not going. All right. That's all I've got for tonight.
Moving on to item 6, do a presentation?
Miss Diamond and
Oh,
I.
Ms. Diamond,
Ms. Diamond,
okay.
sub in.
Okay.
I agree.
So, I'm Mr. Ferguson, I teach in the ag shop, and this Miss Diamond, she's in third grade,
First grade.
first grade.
You're on the-
And, we drew the short straw on presenting on behalf of our district, our campus improvement committee. And so what y'all got in front of y'all is just a very rough draft on kind of what we've started working on. From what I understand, it was kind of the brainchild of Mr. Fowler, I believe, at the secondary campus. And so we started meeting back in October as a result of a lot of factors. So part of it is a climate survey we had, and another one was we realized we didn't have a current vision statement as a campus. So it kind of started as a think tank to help develop a vision statement for the district that we would present to y'all to potentially adopt. And from there, it's kind of evolved into just a really cool, organic, kind of a way to develop the culture of our district to head in a positive direction. You know, we recognize that Iola's phenomenal. Iola's a wonderful place. I tell the kids the first week of school, I wish I'd have been lucky enough to grow up, in a place like Iola. It's just a phenomenal community, phenomenal support, phenomenal school. But recognizing that, there's also always areas to improve. You can't get stagnant, And so that's kind of how it was developed, I think, the early on. And so what you have in front of you is just like a very tentative rough draft of some of our ideas that we've come up with over the last 3 or 4 months.
So we're just wanting to take ownership of the culture of our district, and we noticed that we didn't obviously have a vision statement updated, and so a group of elementary, a group of high school teachers put on by our principals have gotten together, and we've not met as many times, but we're getting there. And so we've met as campuses together, and we've kind of just talked about different things that we want to change as a district, and how can we do that. So it's all a work in progress, and it's a working worksheet every time we get together. So this is just kind of like your beginning stages. And so at the last page, I think I'm skipping ahead.
You're fine, you go ahead.
Okay. The last page, we kind of have a little vision board, if you would say. And as you can tell, you guys are the first part. So school board, staff, student, and community. And the 3 main topics, goals that we have, that our community, our committee has come up with, is creating meaningful relationships, relevant learning, and engaging opportunities. And as a group, we've come with some ideas of how we can meet those goals. And we're still weeding through them and seeing how we can make them better or worse. Not worse. Better. I'm sorry. I'm really nervous. So we just wanted to kind of let y'all know kind of where we are and what we kind of have a goal to be towards, and that it's obviously a work in progress.
So I guess the way my mind works is kind of what's the point, what's the objective? Well, these really organic conversations that we're having amongst our peers have led to like starting to possibly affect professional development and ideas that we may want to implement in vision statements. And at that point, obviously, we'll bring those findings to y'all, and y'all can choose to adopt those ideas or not. I think the thought process that Mr. Fowler had, at least for the secondary campus, was, we've got some really unique mindsets, a lot of people with unique backgrounds, and so why outsource, that feedback if we can kind of create it from within. And so it's been extremely beneficial for me in my relationship professionally with the other folks that are on that committee. And I see it going a really positive direction, most importantly for the kids, but also the staff and the community and all of the other components that make this school successful. So in the future, I would anticipate us coming and maybe presenting different ideas, or whether it be a vision statement or ideas for professional development that y'all can choose to either adopt or not, but that'll be up to y'all. But that's kind of where we were going with this campus improvement plan. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
In terms of after this gets finished, what is the plan for, is this something y'all would show every fall, at the beginning of the school year?
That's a
How
great-
do we show that? Because it's great work to do it, but if it's not adopted each year and talked about and it being treated as a living, applicable document, then.
Absolutely.
It should work for nothing.
So what Fowler and he's on our committee, but he's not our committee chair. He's just another component of the committee. What we've discussed is making this a part of our professional development at the beginning of every year and really focusing on the culture. Iola is different. We love on kids. We spend a lot of extra time with kids. It's just different. And for somebody to come from a big district, it would be easy to get lost in expectations or the norms of the district. So our thought would be to kind of include it now for existing employees, but looking more into the future, implement into professional development at the beginning of every year. Probably creating a subcommittee specific to professional development, just to try to instill the cultural values we have as a district.
And what he's talking about is we really want to include our teachers more in our professional development when we start school and not outsource it to EduHero and some other things that are not real personal. So we really want to do those things.
And I think it's opened up a lot of conversation, at least at our campus, like how can we improve discipline and how can we improve all these different parts of our day that we can make our day run smoother. And so I think getting together and meeting together has really brought some ideas around too.
Well, also just improving relationships.
Oh,
exactly.
It's been a cool experience. I don't know if, I'm sure our committees would be open to it, but if any of you ever want to come sit in on, ours are always after school. And man, it's just neat. The conversations that occur are just neat. And you wouldn't have a conversation like this in my mind anywhere else but Iola. There's genuine love and interest in the kids here. So.
It'd also be interesting if, and I know we're doing the town hall around the bond things, but just also sharing that with parents in the community as well, just to show that you guys have taken the time and the investment in creating this and working together across both campuses and with all the teachers, just to show that this is something that you guys as teachers wanted to do to further improve our district and just show the commitment that you guys have and like I said, just share with the community. I think it would be a
And
great
part of
idea.
that, Paul Plant relax on this community, and so our goal is to ask our parents to come in, see what we're doing, show, this is what we're expecting them to do at school, these are some things we need y'all to help us with, because it's a circle, we can't do this at home if you're not doing it at home.
Right.
We can't do this at school if you're not doing it at home.
Exactly, and to that end, on that Paul Print, that last graphic, it's the staff, it's the school board, so now we have 2 implements. Now we're going to start adding a focus group of student feedback, formulating some focus groups, and then based off information we get from the students, we're going to formulate a plan, and at that point, we would absolutely be open and ideally include the community in it. The school's unique. This school is so unique. I feel like personally it's a hub. Obviously I'm biased, but it's a hub for the community. I feel like this school brings us all together, and this is such a unique place. And we just want all those facets to come together for the success of the kiddos.
So, go ahead.
I was just saying this also.
It is, and thank y'all for doing this. This is great. And I think you may have kind of answered this already. So eventually y'all will be able to present ideas to us as a board and to parents and to students about how we can help with that culture as well, right?
Absolutely.
That's what
So it'll always be a work in progress. The idea is to never get stagnant.
Right.
So as we meet on campus and we hear some concerns from students or concerns from specific departments or whatever the case may be, if it's something that the school board can look into, adopt, or what have you, we'll present it to you as a school board. If it's more of a community involvement type deal, you'll be addressed more on the parental level, less on the school board level.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? Thank y'all.
Let's see.
At this time, we're going to go into closed session under 551.1082. So, that's at 7:05.
Back on.
coming out of executive session at 8:03. Joe? All right, at this time, we need a motion to entertain a motion of employment of Jeff Dyer as our superintendent.
Make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Alec Warner. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, motion carries 6-0. Okay, and then, next motion that we have to do is the contract for superintendent, and that's going to be, Mr. Salary amount, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, at a annual salary of $120,000 for a 3-year plus 4-month contract. And that just kind of, the reason why the 4-month extension is on there is just kind of lining up where the superintendent's renewal normally needs to be in July. So, do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Alex moved, is there a second? Second on Karen. Any questions or discussions?
It needs to designate a 226-day contract.
Okay.
Is that right? Ms. Botcha has to have a date on it?
226 days on contract?
Yes, sir.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, or raise your hand.
Well, we had to add that 226.
Sorry, I'm still learning on this.
That's okay.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Motion carries 6-0. Okay. Then we have some contracts. Okay, we have 3 resignations effective at the end of the school year, and that is for Blaine Trent, Tori Whitaker, and Ashley Doucette. Are those all together?
Yes.
Okay. Have a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll make a motion to
Made by
accept.
Red, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Deidre. Any questions or discussions? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0.
One more motion.
Okay, and we need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Red, and seconded by Deidre. All those in favor?